So the Betway Dingaans, let's talk about that. Just how good is Greatrix? I got Jonathan Blumberg, Sean Tarry and Piere Strydom in the continued conversation, part 2 of this preview. And very impressed the way Greatrix has been winning lately, Jonathan. I mean, you go back to that maiden form, that first run. That was the strongest maiden form I've ever seen in my life. Everything from there is just about coming. We heard rumours about whatever was in that race. The likes of those that were competing. I mean, Pistol Pete couldn't lose. This one couldn't lose. But Greatrix has just come on unbelievable.
Yeah, I think this horse has got the wow factor, for me anyway. I think it's been a long time since I've seen a horse come out after a couple of month rest and win over 1100 start to finish, you know, pacing it harder and faster than Pistol Pete, and just a couple of days later coming out and winning over a mile start to finish. So I think this horse is the real deal. This is the kind of horse that people in South Africa want to see. And this is the kind of horse that's going to take a power of beating in this race.
It's amazing, Sean, you know, when you look at his last start, for example, and try and weigh it up as to what was in that race, and having a look at the likes of Barbaresco and Back in Business and those type of horses, Main Defender, they were all in there. And you say to yourself, well, then what did Greatrix run? Because he can only be penalised what he was penalised. So what he's currently running off is not what he should be rated. With all due respect, I'm of the view he should be off a 118. That's my view, Greatrix.
You could well be right, but at the end of the day, he's won a graduation plate in really good fashion, and a 105 at this stage, I think, is a fair mark to now venture into the feature races. But I agree with Jono. This horse has had really impressive aura around him. You know, he's won really, really well. He looks like a top horse in the making. He's got the one draw. Cabela rode a very confident race from the front the last time, and you know, this horse was finishing with a ton in hand. So I think he does look like a big runner, hard to beat, and I think the only horse that can actually beat him on form is the filly.
Well, let's talk to Striker about her, about Quid Pro Quo, Pierre's ride in the Betway Dingaans. It's interesting because when you have a look at them, VJ's Angel and your filly Quid Pro Quo, they've sort of avoided one another as they did earlier on in their career, and they've done it again on Saturday. But where are you now with her, and how do you feel about her? What are her chances, Pierre? Quid Pro Quo.
It's very, I mean, we know she's good, and she's a very good filly. She's done everything right. But it's difficult to be confident on a horse that hasn't run for 4 months, to come to Turfentine over a mile and try and beat a horse like Greatrix. Greatrix, as we said, his merit rating should be way higher, because you're only allowed to get a certain amount of points, a 6 points penalty for winning a graduation. So the merit rating is obviously way higher than what it shows in the computer form. He's drawn one, he races from the front, he's fit, he's a colt. The jockey room talk that was that this is like one of the greats of this year coming through. And so I say Greatrix, very hard horse to beat. I think probably the banker on a day. If my filly had a run or two in between, I could say, okay, we'll make a race of it, or we'll give him a go. Yeah. But I think 4 months break, it's going to be very tough on her.
Yeah, we'll see how good she'll be on Saturday, up a horse against like Greatrix. Well, it would be remiss of me not to ask Pierre about anything else on the day that you're partnering some fair horses. Is there something out there that we haven't discussed or touched on?
Yeah, well, I've got a difficult card in the sense I've got good rides, nice rides, but a lot are not certain, how can I say, factors that are going to be in my favour. For instance, like Dave the King. He's the best horse in the race, and on best form he should win it. But he finished stone last time, pulled up lame. So what are we going to get on the day?
Yeah.
I'm riding White Pearl. I see she's favourite. I don't think she can win a sprint. 1160 is too short for her. She battles with the pace. We're drawn on the wrong side of the track. Where are we going to be? At the back of the field, we're going to try and get a run back to the middle to get a clear run, and back in the bad going. Yeah. It's like so. I've got a difficult card. Fatal Flaw, good filly, drawn wide. She's already been accepted for the Fillies Guineas in Cape Town, so she might not run on the day, and we'll only know closer to the day.
Okay.
So as I said, yeah, I've got a bit of a difficult card. Champion Warrior, I'm riding him in the last race, the 11th race. He's won his last 2 starts, but both have been at the Vaal Straight. He's backed you around the bend, and he's had some little issues where sometimes he would pull and you would hang. And down the Vaal straight, we never had that issue. Now we've back around the bend and drawn a bit bad.
Yeah.
But Sean's got to the bottom of him, and he's behaving better. He's moving better. So
Yeah.
hopefully he's still on the up. But all in all, a tricky card for me.
You'll be holding thumbs. We've had this conversation before.
Please hold as
For
many as you can.
many years. And Striker rocks up with 4 winners on the day. So it's quite possible. Sean, he's a lovely looker, Champion Warrior, at the end of the day. And just to ask you about the rest of your card, I knew you come here with a competitive hand, no doubt. And I'm sure you're hoping for a solid day.
Yeah, it's a competitive hand that I have, but solid day is hard. It's tough racing. There's not one race that I can tell you to put your head down. There's not one runner that I'm confident of actually winning.
Yeah.
Let's start with Champion Warrior. He's drawn 10. He's going to have to be dropped out, and he's going to have to come with a late run. That may not be to his favour. If he try and goes handy from a wide draw, he'll over race, and he'll run closer to the back of the field than he will to the front. The Stable Companion, I think, is not out of it. Don't cry for me. I wouldn't be able to tell you categorically which way to go, but they both got chances. I think races 8, 9 and 10 are tough for me. And I mean, I've got live wires throughout early on. If I could rely on only one of the runners, I wouldn't have to bring 3 or 4 in one race.
Yeah.
But I think it gets tougher as the day goes on. But a good value bet for me is World of Alice. I see she's 13-1. I think that's
Great.
good value. Okay, first race, obviously we'd have a decent chance, but she's not a blitz merchant. If there's any horse that's in the first race that's got that jump and go style about them, I think we would be under pressure.
That's normally the case. They have the
I've
jump
got
and
a
go.
great coupling in the second race.
Yes. Yeah, sure. And any one of those can win. I mean, you wouldn't mind which one wins, obviously.
Yeah, anyone. It's a 300 grand race.
Yes,
we're
correct.
going in there a little heavier than lighter, and I hope one of them come good.
Lovely.
I mean, the outside draw obviously in our favour, and Richard Ferry with his horse, but she did battle to get going early on in sprints, and I just hope that she's strengthened up and she has enough speed. She ran 2 good seconds, but ran on well, rather than had the speed.
Thanks for sharing that information with us, Sean. We can make use of World of Alice, Jonathan. We can use her and maybe into Dave the King, some of Fiery Pegasus perhaps. I mean, you've looked at the card overall as a punter. What's your play?
I think the Fillies mile's interesting, and I think Sean is right. There's a lot of collateral form there. I think the key's obviously going to be whether Fatal Flaw stays or goes to Cape Town, and what the decision is of Piere from a 10 draw. It's a competitive race. There's a couple of fillies in there. You've got group winners in VJ's Angel. I think for me, the exciting horse on the day, and we've said it, is Greatrix. I think that's the hot horse. Everybody's got everything into it, starting with it, ending on it. That's going to be interesting. I do like Pierre's horse, Dave the King. I think that run off the rest with that weight was, I think Richard went too fast. I think we're going to see a way better horse over 1,400 metres, and I think just about Piere will win that race.
Lovely stuff. So the Betway Dingaans promises to be an absolute cracker. Just how good is Greatrix going to be? We're going to find out. Be here to come and watch him in action on Saturday, right here at Turfentine Racecourse.